A preliminary report from embattled VA Secretary Eric Jansing is due on President Obama's desk this week. With the growing scandal over veteran health care at the top of many people's minds this past Memorial Day weekend, President Obama addressed it 3 days in a row in his weekly media address, during his surprise visit to Afghanistan, and yesterday at Arlington National Cemetery.
As we've been reminded in recent days, we must do more to keep faith with our veterans and their families and ensure they get the care and benefits and opportunities that they've earned and that they deserve. We're going to stay strong by taking care of our wounded warriors and our veterans, because helping our wounded warriors and veterans heal isn't just a promise, it's a sacred obligation.
They've done their duty, and they ask nothing more than that this country does ours, now and for decades to come.
Time to bring in MSNBC.com senior editor Beth Bowie and BuzzFeed senior political writer McKay Coppins. Thanks for being with us. Beth, let's start with you. This morning, the president has been criticized. We all know that for his response to the VA crisis here. The White House, are we trying to send a signal by having 3 instances where he's addressing this, including that surprise trip to Afghanistan?
Sure. I mean, he has to. He's the commander-in-chief. He has to reassure everyone that he's on top of this and that he's going to get to the bottom of the crisis. And it seems to me, though, that what we're seeing on Capitol Hill is really this kind of scandal fatigue, where they're so good at sort of ginning up fake scandals that they don't quite know how to deal with a real scandal, which this is. So it actually gives the president a little bit of an opportunity to step out ahead of it. He may, in the end, ask for the resignation of Secretary Jansing, but he's going to wait for this report. He's letting the process play out, which, of course, is the way this president tends to handle problems. And hopefully we'll see it get resolved very quickly. During
that surprise trip, though, the White House was clear in saying that the VA crisis didn't factor into that trip at all, though. They went out of their way to say.
Not at all. Not at all. Well, it was Memorial Day. Perhaps he was planning to do some of this anyway. I think he'd probably just stepped it up.
All right, McKay, let's go to you here. It's not just President Obama who's under fire for this scandal. Republican Senator Richard Burr, he's being blasted here by veterans groups for his open letter criticizing them for not doing more to condemn Secretary Jansing. Here's the VFW response here. Senator, this is clearly one of the most dishonorable and grossly inappropriate acts that we have witnessed in more than 40 years of involvement with the veteran community. Your allegations are ugly and mean-spirited in every sense of the words and are profoundly wrong, both logically and morally. So does this actually show us the peril of politicizing this here with using those really harsh, direct words?
Sure. I mean, look, this controversy should not be about political point scoring, of course, but everything in Washington is. And I think that Republicans are erring, like Senator Burr here, by picking fights with veteran groups. Republicans are still seen in polls as the party that supports soldiers, that supports the troops, that supports veterans. But if they're seen as picking these public fights and coming under fire by veteran groups, then it's gonna damage their position as they go forward and try to prosecute this scandal.
All right, the House Veterans Committee could subpoena 3 top VA officials this week. So if they don't voluntarily show up to this hearing tomorrow, what is the move for lawmakers next in the investigation?
Well, it sort of struck me as, again, as I was saying before, that they've been a little bit ham-handed in how they've handled this. I mean, they were very quick to put together a select committee on Benghazi, even though Benghazi's been, litigated quite a bit already on Capitol Hill. And yet this scandal, they're a little bit slow to sort of take action and do something constructive. There have been calls for the resignation of Jansing, but it seems a bit random and not very strategic at this point. So I think that they're starting to realize that they really do need to get on top of this and clip it in the bud. And maybe the president's report, once he receives that, there will be a sense of how to organize around this a little bit more effectively.
Nip it in the bud, some say long overdue.
Yeah.
All right, McKay, the VA scandal comes, with President Obama here at a time where he's going to make this major speech at West Point tomorrow, where he's going to address Afghanistan, troops there, when that's going to end, including foreign policy here. What's at stake for the president? And, will the VA, this whole scandal, overshadow anything he has to say about that?
I certainly expect that we'll hear more from him on this issue in this speech. I think that, the instinct of some Democrats is to cast blame on the Bush administration and say, well, look, it's the past administration that got us into all these wars, and that's why we have so many veterans who are in need. I don't think President Obama can even hint in that direction, because he does have ownership over these wars. He has sent many thousands of troops into battle zones, war zones, since he's taken office, and so he's going to have to take ownership of that and take responsibility. And I think, yes, in this speech and in many speeches going forward, he's going to have to keep addressing this and try to solve the problem.
All right, we're watching the Jansing report, also that speech at West Point, as I'm sure both of you will too. Beth Bowie and McKay Coppins, thank you so much, as always. Taking back